Hello everybody, I hope you're doing good today. This video may contain copyrighted images being used underneath Fair Use Act for educational purposes. It's a rocket launch update. That's right folks, rocket launch is tomorrow. Or is it? Supposed to be September the 8th. But I don't even think IPS has left New Mexico for California. And from what I've been hearing, it ain't going to happen. You know, in fact, they're acting like it may never happen. And so what if it doesn't? It was just $5,000 and nobody cares about their money. They don't want it back. That's their stance. You know, but I can tell you this, the rocket launch ain't going to happen tomorrow. So that's just part of the rocket launch update. Because there's another part up to this update that IPS is proud of. So, to start this update out, I wanted to go back to almost the beginning. This was a week after IPS opened his GoFundMe page. And Jaron calls into IPS's show and throws in his support for this rocket stuff. He throws in his support for the 1 mile rocket jump. And he throws in his support for the 62 miles up to the Kármán line. But now all of a sudden, Jaron says he didn't support that. He just supported the 1 mile rocket jump. But that's all a bunch of BS, as you will find out in a minute. So first I want to start out with the first ever launch date. Let's listen.
And did he pick a date yet, or we just got beginning of August? That's all we know right now.
He's convinced that he'll get the most media attention if he does it in the middle of the week. So we're looking at August 5th.
There you go, August 5th. Go look at the calendar. It isn't the middle of the week like IPS claims. So that was the first date. Then IPS changed it to the 1st of August. Then that fell through. Then he said it was the 3rd Tuesday of August. And then when IPS found out the 3rd Tuesday was the 15th, he goes, oh, wait a minute, let me call Mike. Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. It's the 4th Tuesday of August, the 22nd. So when the 22nd came around and of course, the rocket launch didn't happen, it got moved to September 8th. And it's not happening tomorrow. So, now, let's keep on going here. Because remember, Jaron says he threw in his support for this 1 mile jump, and that was it. But that's utter bullshit. So let's listen.
It's a raccoon, a rocket balloon. So it's a rocket lifted.
You hear that? Jaron giggles when he hears IPS say it's a raccoon. Jaron giggles through this whole freaking video. It's annoying. It's childish giggle. Let's listen.
By a balloon up to 130,000 feet.
And then what does he want to do? He wants to shoot a rocket from that point and hit 60 miles?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. And I'm like, wow, I don't know how they're going to do it. He has the information, but it's all proprietary. He's going to release it probably next month. But they have a plan to get to the Kármán line. So I hope there's not a dome for his sake.
Yeah, I'm all for it. No.
Did you hear him say he's all for it? Let me back this up a little bit.
I hope there's not a dome for his sake.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Let's no naysaying. Rule number 2.
Yeah, exactly.
He's all for it. No naysaying. Rule number 2. He threw in his support for all this stuff. This whole thing was Jaron telling people, hey, support this rocket launch. Support this GoFundMe page. He was in it hook, line, and sinker for the full deal. Not just the 1 mile rocket jump. So you ain't going to worm your way out of this, Jaron. You're all responsible if this rocket doesn't get launched with media present. International media. This was supposed to be the biggest event of 2017. Bigger than the eclipse. But it's anything but. So, I want to point out a couple things about this picture. Notice the picture's cropped. I always wondered why. And notice this mag wheel here. I'm pointing out the mag wheel because I'm going to show you something later. And then also notice this is the only photo we've seen of this side of the rocket. It's supposed to be painted on both sides. The Research Flat Earth is on the other side. We've never seen Research Flat Earth on this side. They've never showed us any other picture of this side. For whatever reason. Maybe because it ain't on both sides. You know? So, now, keep in mind here, this is the same video. This is 25 minutes later. Jaron and IPS are going on talking about those who control us. You know, those who give us the Big Bang, infinite space bullshit. So, let's listen to what IPS says about those people and their symbols.
Sure, like I've been pointing out for a while that, you know, the obelisk is just another, has been re-represented as the rocket, or the satellite takes the place.
The obelisk has been re-represented as the rocket. This is in the same fucking rocket launch promotion video. They're telling you it's a obelisk. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this hypocrisy up, folks. It's in the same video. They're promoting a rocket launch by telling you it's a phallic symbol. You see the nonsense here? Okay. Let's keep going here. Because we're back here. Remember this? This was that show Nathan did the other night. And they're here trying to bail IPS out of this rocket debacle. And let's listen to Nathan's theory on why IPS is only a sponsor and he isn't responsible, even though the money went to IPS's bank account. Let's listen.
If you forget us for a second, let's look at Formula One and say that Marlboro are sponsoring Ferrari, and Ferrari are racing really well, and then the following season Marlboro sponsor them, and then they have a massive problem that means they can't go out on track. Do you get in touch with Marlboro? Of course you don't. You get in touch with Ferrari if you've got a beef with Ferrari. They're the people who are running the event. They're the people running the car. The sponsor's not responsible for it. They've just given them some money to help them along their way, to get them on the track. Now, if that was not enough money or they had a catastrophic failure, that's not the sponsor's fault.
Or if they decided to run with the money for the hills, it's not the sponsor's fault either.
Absolutely.
Those things happen.
Yeah, if the sponsor was to give the Ferrari, in this example, a shitload of cash, and then Ferrari went bankrupt, essentially taking their money with them, tough. That's bad luck for Marlboro.
Right.
But does that mean that I would get in touch with Marlboro and go, Ferrari aren't racing, Marlboro? What are you doing? It's like, what the hell's it got to do with us?
Man, this guy's annoying. He's dumb, too. Listen to this nonsense. This has nothing to do with what IPS did. IPS opened a GoFundMe account to launch a rocket and put the account in his name. And all we know is the money went into IPS's pocket. We have no accountability. We have no proof to any money we even went to Mike. But let's keep going here.
It would be bad. It would be immoral of the person who took the money, accepted the money for the launch, to abscond with it, and have purposely plotted to do that from the start. But that wouldn't make it the fault of the sponsor. Now, I don't even think, sadly enough, that it's a good idea, because if Mad Mike goes up there, what if he dies? But then again, no one's making him go up there. He was wanting to do that launch before IPS and him started speaking. That was something he was saying he was going to do. So if he wants to take his own life into his own hands, that's up to him. Hopefully there isn't any sort of, him trying to lie to people to get money. If so, boy, he's lowballing it. I mean, that's not a lot of money in order to sell your soul. So if he's that kind of person and wants to rip people off like that, that's just.
Now here's Patricia. She's talking about, so what if Mike ripped off somebody for $5,700? That's not a whole lot of money. But yet Patricia's going to make a video asking people to match her $100 to the hurricane victims, as if what she's doing is at great financial cost to her. She's got a lot of nerve. Like I said, most frauds, person to person, are under $10,000. And with $5,700, I could pay my mortgage payment for 6-7 months. That's not a bad take for a month or two of work. Not bad at all. Let's keep going here, because it gets even more ridiculous.
Ridiculous. There's no money to sell your soul, of course, but
now if that's the case, and I've thought about this, like, I'm not naive, and a lot of people have accused me of being a fraud because of this thing, and they accuse him of it, and it's like, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I give everyone the presumption of innocence, so I'm not going to accuse anything of someone of that. But what I did do was took a trip out there to see the thing, to see the person, to meet. There's a number of us there. I had a camera crew with me, and I was just doing a little documentary. I'm doing a written piece for Flat Revival. And so I had to see for myself. I wanted to see, is this guy a slob? Is he an alcoholic? Does he actually look like he could survive something like this, going at 300 miles per hour or something? So when I took a look, and it seemed legitimate. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I was reinforced in my decision to commit to it anyway, because if anything goes wrong, I have his address, so I'll refund people if that's the case they ask for, but I'll also get back whatever money was taken, because if it doesn't happen, is what I'm saying. So to me, I just don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, well, the what was promised was the Flat Earth logo would be on a rocket, right? And that did happen. That was delivered. So what else happens after that? That's going to be up to Mad Mike.
Do you see the utter fucking nonsense of this? She's trying to say the sponsor agreement was met as soon as he put Research Flat Earth on the side of the rocket. They're just doing damage control. And this just makes it a lot worse. A lot worse. This is embarrassing for them. Real embarrassing. Not just the rocket launch, this damage control. Because this just totally backfires with comments like that. Let's keep going, because there's more.
With Mad Mike twice. I was going to interview him, and then that didn't really work out. He kind of disappeared. Even if he said he'd call me back the next day, and he never did. So what does that mean? He got busy? No idea. But I didn't pursue, because he was able to contact me, because he'd contacted me the day before after I'd contacted him. So he didn't want to, I guess. And that's fine with me. Either way, doesn't matter. Does that prove he's irresponsible? Maybe kind of. He's maybe not a man of his word. Maybe kind of.
Do you see the bullshit here? What does it matter? Just $5,000. And they're sitting there claiming that nobody wanted their money back. This is what IPS did. He started a live stream. He had a link down below to a form to fill out if you wanted your money back. There were probably 20 or 30 people in his room at that time. And they were, as hardcore followers. The same ones that are always there. Earth Pond, and I can't remember all their names right now. You all know who I'm talking about. Moxie and the other Morgan's her name, and all of them. Only about 3 or 4 of them said, Oh, we don't want our refund back. So they turn around and say, oh, see, we contacted everybody and nobody wants their money back. So therefore, big deal. $5,000, we don't know where it went. Big deal. So, no problem, right? It's no problem.
Just get
because NASA steals billions every year, right? You see their utter nonsense here? This is just ridiculous of what these people are saying. Most fraud victims don't file for their money back because they're too embarrassed. I've only had a couple people out of all the people that left IPS. He's had a lot of people bail on him. I've only had 2 of them come to me and admit they fell for this bullshit. Everybody else is too embarrassed. They'll go change their name before they come back and act like they were never part of the Penguin Club. Anyways, let's wrap this up. This was IPS the other night, 2 nights ago, the 5th. This is his rocket update. Let's listen.
Having this Flat Earth Music and Arts Festival thing, and whether or not you look at it this way, that rocket is a work of art. I mean, when I left the place where the garage, the lot where it's being built, I thought that's a pretty amazing piece of work. And the guy's life reminds me of a typical lifetime artist living and working in their studio and just being productive 24/7. It's rather ingenious. So I was like, hey, after you're through with this thing, can you bring it up to FEMA camp? Can we have it in Denver for that weekend? We'll park it out in front of the venue, big bright red research flat earth rocket. And he did agree to that. So, in fact, let me see if I have it here. There you go. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. This is a mobile launcher. It's different from what he's done before. The previous one where it was in the ground. This one's actually on the back of the vehicle. But anyway, actually, yeah, Ace McCloud says that rocket as an art piece is worth more than a few thousand we invested. That's what I was saying. I was actually thinking about it, and I was like, man, I would totally just say, hey, let's just make it a trade. Bill Hicks Jr., you misbehave and you unban people, so don't.
You see this picture? This is supposed to be the most recent picture, the most updated picture. Now remember, I told you, remember that mag wheel on the passenger side? Well, it ain't there. He's got a couple metal rims on here, painted blue. And then this is why they cropped the picture. This is why they didn't want to show us all this, because people are going to see this and they're going to laugh their asses off. Like I said, this makes rednecks look lame. This is bad. Really bad. It looks like he used angle iron from old bed frames for support. There's more curve in this than NASA's ball of Earth. The rocket doesn't even line up with the freaking ramp. The rocket's going up this way and the ramp's going this way.
Sad emoji.
Do you see the ridiculousness of this whole thing? And he says, Mad Mike on his Facebook page says he's building this ramp out and he's going to drive it like this to the launch site. Well, you see the power lines behind him? What's he going to do? Remove the power lines first? This is ridiculous, man. And IPS says this will look great out in front of FEMA camp. That's the update, people. They're going to put the rocket out, the obelisk, the phallic symbol, out in front of FEMA camp. But I guarantee you it ain't going to be with this vehicle, because it ain't going to make it to Colorado. Wow, man. This is freaking laughable. This is why they cropped it, because they knew people would laugh their ass off once they seen this shit. This looks like a fucking electric trolley car in fucking India. When I seen this picture, I just started busting up laughing. You know why? Because we're never going to get images or video of a rocket launch. The good thing, this thing will go bad. Really bad. because that ramp and that support system ain't going to support the forces generated. If you go look at Eddie Braun's jump, he had massive steel girders cemented into the ground because it's going to generate a lot of forces at that kind of speed. So this is just complete fuckery. This is like a prop. Like somebody that wants to use a prop to go around and make money off of it. You know, a snake oil salesman, I think they used to call them back in the days. Wow. So there you have it, folks. Let's listen one more time to IPS here.
And I'll be in touch with Mad Mike about getting his rocket over to FEMA camp. How cool would that be? I would almost rather have that than a launch. But
there you go, folks. And my opinion is we're never going to see a launch. Have a good day.